From the Steinway Piano Gallery. Welcome to our latest edition of Steinway Piano Gallery's concert performances. If you're visiting for the first time, I want to tell you what it is that we do here. First, we're one of the largest piano stores in the country. In addition to being the exclusive dealer for Steinway & Sons piano and Steinway designed Boston and Essex pianos, our 30,000 square foot showroom is home to several hundred new and used pianos where you can make side-by-side comparisons of many name brands. So whether it's a concert instrument or a piano for a beginner, we'll have one. Our technical staff services most of the performance venues in Michigan, and they can tune, repair, or restore your piano. We're also home to the new Spirio piano, which can faithfully reproduce the performances of one of the 1,600 Steinway artists worldwide right in your own living room. It will forever change the way that you listen to music. And we're committed to your education. Our Arts Academy has hundreds of students of all ages coming to learn music and to create art. And in the Steinway Hall, we can comfortably seat up to 250 people for some of the greatest musical events provided by the best talent in the Midwest, as well as internationally known musicians and singers. Every concert's different, featuring different artists and a variety of styles, so make sure you tune in. For the great lovers of classical music, we host a variety of performances by Steinway artists and arts organizations like Detroit Symphony Orchestra and Michigan Opera Theater. If you'd like advance notice about our concerts, just send us your email and we'll make sure you will get an announcement. If you enjoy what we do here, we would love it if you would visit steinwaydetroit.com and give us a review, or like us on our Facebook page, or go on your Facebook page and let your friends know what we do here. And if you want to experience the thrill of playing music, come in and see Cliff Monear, our resident pianist, and he can get you started. And one last thing, consider showing your appreciation by making a donation of any amount to support our ongoing Steinway concert series. We're going to continue to live stream our concerts until we can return to our regular-sized audiences. So, pour yourself a glass of wine and a comfy chair and feel the music, because music is what feelings sound like. Here's why we say, come play with us. It's what we do. Enjoy.
Welcome to May 12th Steinway Jazz Cafe. That's Nick Calandro on bass. My name is Cliff Monear, and my special guest and longtime friend. We were just talking about how long time that's been, and I'm stunned to say that I met this man at least 30 years ago, and I think we may be being conservative there. We were in the third grade. This is my friend Jake Reichbart. And we're going to play some more music for you. Thank you for joining us online. Thank you for being here. We're still trying to keep it at 25 people inside the building and our concert space. We hope to be able to open further in the very near future. And at this point, we're going to play another song, and then I'm going to turn this microphone over to my friend Jake, and he'll tell you all about himself and things that you don't want to know about me, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And Cliff mentioned that we've known each other for many years. This is true. And we were just chatting. And I remember the first time I met him, first time I saw him play. You're going to get a laugh because you know Cliff. And I saw him play. And he doesn't know what I'm about to say now. So, and he was playing there with his trio. It sounded wonderful. And on the break, he got up. He didn't take a break. He went to his bag and got out a tuner. A piano tuner. I'd never seen a piano player on his own gig go to the club piano and start tuning it on his... The wrench, okay, whatever it's called. I play piano. Is it called a wrench? Piano tuning wrench, yeah. Have you seen any, except for Cliff, have you seen anybody ever step up in the middle of their gig, start tuning their own piano at the club? I've never seen that before. But it was well worth it. The piano was in tune. And they didn't have to pay for it, apparently. It was a great gig. And shortly thereafter, we started collaborating. We met and we talked and found we had a lot in common. And it wasn't very long after that that I asked him if he could suggest a good bass player, and he suggested Nick right here, and might have been maybe a few months later. So it's coming on 30 years now that I've known and played with Nick. We don't have a lot of steady gigs. Sometimes a few months will go by and nothing, then 5 gigs in a row, then a year goes by, but that's the nature of it these days, and we're just happy that we can be in touch, and hopefully we can do this another 30 years. We're going to play another tune, and in between the next 2 tunes, I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing tonight, which is a Beatles presentation, all Beatles music arranged for jazz. So we'll talk about that in a minute, and let's play another tune right now. Might as well mention that when I say Beatles, for me, it's the Beatles universe, as it were. So it's not only Beatles tunes per se, but it can be also John Lennon tunes solo, it could be George Harrison tunes, and Paul McCartney, of course. Ringo didn't write anything, but he's got some great solo albums as well. So with that in mind, we're going to play now a tune that is actually a Paul McCartney tune from the Band on the Run album. This is called Bluebird, a beautiful tune. Thank you very much. That was called Bluebird, and that's a Paul McCartney solo tune from the Band on the Run album, which already is 48 years old. It's hard to imagine. This is all way before your time. I'm not sure you'll recognize any of these tunes. Maybe the girls over there. No? Hi. So Beatles, in my particular life, I was going to say, which is another tune, of course, Beatles music is very important. In fact, it is the very first music that I remember. And I know this for a fact because I remember, well, the first music that I ever remember is Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. And I know that I was 2 years old when I heard it because, I know this for a fact because I remember the setting where it was, and I asked my parents at the time, I just wanted to make sure, where was this music? So I know, well, it turns out there was Eleanor Rigby, and I remember we were visiting City Hall, we were in the elevator, I don't know, there was something playing, that was Eleanor Rigby. How old was I when that happened? Well, you were 2 years old. So I know for a fact that my first musical memory goes back to 2 years old, and it is Eleanor Rigby. And that was, I don't want to tell you what year that was, but it was a long time ago. But Beatles was always important in my life before I even was interested in jazz or anything like that. So my first guitar hero, George Harrison, all those great songs. And in many subsequent interviews, Paul McCartney always said that his influence was all the Tin Pan Alley music, all the classic AABA forms, which is all the standards from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. That was his inspiration when he wrote all those tunes. If you can separate the song from the, how to say this, from the, from the clothing, if you will, or, well, the instrumentation or the style, you are left with a song that has a melody and harmony that very much matches, in some ways anything that Cole Porter has done, or, maybe not some of the more rock and roll things, but many of the songs really are of that style. So many years now I've been incorporating Beatles music into my program. Also, as a result of that, also lots of other pop music. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself and what I do and where you can hear me otherwise and some of the other things that I do. But so I don't talk too much all at the same time, and we're going to take a break from my talking and play another tune right now. So we're going to move on. We're going to play a tune that I hope you will recognize. This is called She's Leaving Home. Thank you very much. He's leaving home. And just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I live in Ann Arbor, Michigan, so not so far. We have other Ann Arbor folks here? Oh, okay. Very good. I live on North 7th Street. Where did you live? What? Oh, okay. Which one? Yes, yes. Excellent. Well, so you must be familiar with the Earl restaurant. And the reason I'm mentioning the Earl restaurant, excuse me, because I've been holding a house gig there. I've been performing there every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, meaning that I took a night off tonight, for the past 28 years. I know, this is starting to be some serious stuff. I never thought about this way, but I know that Bobby Short had a gig at the Carlisle Hotel, and that was world famous at 35 years. Well, I'm getting there, I think. Yeah, just 7 more years of hard labor at the Earl. No, just kidding. It's a great place to play, and what I play there is solo guitar. And that means I just play by myself, all the same tunes, and my repertoire is, generally speaking, half classic jazz standards and half all kinds of pop tunes, including, of course, Beatles. And because I play a lot of harmony, it's always a challenge when you play with a piano player, because kind of typically speaking in jazz settings, when a piano player and guitar player get together, the guitarist has to kind of defer to the piano player because the piano player is the expert on harmony, typically. Well, I had a different opinion about that, but the great thing about Cliff and why I enjoy so much playing with him for the past 30 years, the way he listens, and I listen to him, and our harmonies typically lock pretty well. And if I'm doing something that I feel inspired, and it's a little bit different, he'll step back, and most of the time it'll be me doing the same for him, because you know the stuff that he does, he's just amazing. I have no idea what he does, but I enjoy so much sitting here and listening to him. The piano is right here behind me. I can't tell you how beautiful this is for me, and sitting right between him and him. This is the best seat in the house right here. So I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, let's move on. Here's a tune that's not one of their most famous. So the Beatles have about 270-something tunes in their original albums, and I like to say, and this is true, that I know and play every single one of them. So because when I was a kid, before I even played an instrument, my older sisters had the albums on a reel-to-reel tape. Again, this is before your time, you wouldn't know what that is. And we, I just knew all the music before I had any interest in actually playing music. So for me, a lot of this music, I internalized it. It's inside me. And then when jazz came along, well, it was a perfect match for me. So here's a song. This one is called For No One. What album is this on? It came on it's on the Magical Mystery Tour album, right, Nick?
For No One?
For No One.
I think so.
Yeah. It was one of those songs that was not really on an album.
For No One, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Where's For No One? If I needed some.
But we can
But
do
I'll
that.
find For No One. Oh, got it.
Magical Mystery Tour.
One, two, three, four. Thank you very much. I mentioned earlier Eleanor Rigby, so we're going to do that now. And after that, I also mentioned George Harrison. And, well, Beatles have their very famous songs, of course. I love really to play some of the lesser-known ones. And we've been doing some of those, some of the more famous ones. Right now, we're going to do Eleanor Rigby and the tune that I mentioned earlier. Thank you very much. We're going to play now. We get time for a few more, and I wanted to get that George Harrison song, and this is a pretty obscure one, and it's called If I Needed Someone, and it's from 1965. I believe it appears on the Rubber Soul album. And you know, back then, right up until Sgt. Pepper, the British albums and the American albums of the Beatles album were not the same. So you'll get I think the American Rubber Soul had like 11 songs on it, while the British one had 14 songs. Or it might have been the other way around, because they had a lot of songs that were singles, never came out on an album. And in America, they were always all about sales, always. So they took a lot of the early songs and they chopped them up into a lot of different albums. There were a lot of overlaps. So they were kind of different from each other. But at any rate, this is called If I Needed Someone, and it's a beautiful tune by George Harrison. Thank you very much. From the same album, a John Lennon tune. They were all, interesting story, all Beatles songs, unless they were George Harrison, they were written as Lennon-McCartney. That's an agreement that they came up when they were kids, basically. And any song that came out, even after they broke up, I think, Give Peace a Chance, I think, which was like on the Plastic Ono Band, it was still a Lennon-McCartney song, even though McCartney had nothing to do with it. And I heard an interview quite a few years ago that Paul McCartney wanted one song, not to change the copyright, not to take John Lennon out of this, but for the song Yesterday, which is, he thinks of as his greatest song ever, if you can think of it that way. He wanted this one song for the publisher to write it as McCartney-Lennon instead of Lennon-McCartney, and Yoko Ono did not agree. So there you have it. We still hate her after 50 years. No, just kidding. But that's a true story. But anyway, this is I mentioned this all because other than the very beginning when they really wrote songs together, they started writing songs separately, even though they're all credited to Lennon-McCartney. So here's a song called Run for Your Life. We're going to play it in a kind of a funky way, and this is a John Lennon tune. Thank you very much. Our time is up, but we do want to play one more, and I want to give this one as a special feature to Cliff. You know Cliff, you've heard him before. I'm still amazed after 30 years how great he is. And this guy too. And the crazy thing about these guys, they look as young now as they did back then. And what happened to me? It's like, yeah, right. You know, with these lights, I'm sure at home this looks white. Now, you guys know this is like medium gray, right? Seriously, these guys, I don't know how they do it.
Jake, I have a story to tell. The first time I met Jake was at the Bird of Paradise in Ann Arbor, as he mentioned. We played a set, and here's this fellow that walks up to me. He has long, really kinky, wavy hair that goes like this. It's a lot shorter now, and it was black. It was all black, and it goes down like this, and it was just like wherever he went, it stayed right there. It was awesome. It was a style that was unique to Jake. It was the early 90s, and everything was cool. And so I don't remember the initial conversation, but I remember that I believe he asked to sit in. And I said, okay, are you a good guitar player? I didn't know him. So I said, are you a good player? And he says, yeah. And I said, okay, we're off to the race. You have to lie your way through. No, he was great. It was wonderful meeting. And not long after that, we began working together on a regular basis, and for some time during the 90s, we worked in a sort of a dance band, a wedding-type band. And one of my favorite memories, musicians are never late for the gig, and musicians always show up for the gig, no matter what. And so we were playing this one club of pure dance music, and of course Jake was key to the gig being a success there. And so this guy was always early. He's always early. He's always set up. He's there before everyone else. Well, this one single night, he was running much later than Jake would run. And so when it gets 8:45 and you're starting at 9, that's an emergency for Jake. 15 after 9 is an emergency for everyone else, right? But for 8:45, it's an emergency. And I'm wondering where he is. And pretty soon he walks in. He's got a guitar on his back. He's got all his gear. I said, how you doing? He says, oh, I'm all right. My car caught on fire on the way up here and exploded on the expressway. And he's walking. If that would have happened to me, I'm not sure I would have made it to the gig on time. So as the story goes, in this, as he recovered the items from his car burning up, among those items were 4 gallons of antifreeze. And so he bartered a ride to the gig in a pickup truck. He threw his gear in the back of a pickup truck and offered the man 4 gallons of antifreeze to take him to the gig, and it worked, and he was on time. Yeah, Jake. Go, Jake.
True story. I'll tell you, that $100 Ford Escort, I got my worth out of it. I had 4 of them in a row. We're not going to go there. Great stories from, and it's true. You don't show up to the gig, they replace you. So that's why we always show up. So we're going to finish the show now with a tune appropriate, I guess the title, With a Little Help from My Friends. And this is inspired a little bit also by the Joe Cocker version. So we kind of did a blend of the two. And we're going to feature Cliff on the piano on this one.
Reichbart, master musician, master guitarist, master friend. Thank you, Jake. Nick Calandro on bass, another master of his craft. My name is Cliff Monear. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Utah. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, you. We'll see you next time.